Hello, Mr. Movie Lover here with another movie review. I decided to go way back for this week's movie. Last week, we lost a film legend, director Joel Schumacher. He directed such great films like The Client and Falling Down, and some lesser ones like 8mm and The Number 23. I guess he should have stayed away from number movies. This week's movie was actually indirectly suggested to me via a local NPR radio host, who took time to explain how much he loved this movie growing up. Hearing his adoration for what many critics have hailed as one of the worst Batman movies ever made me wonder, should I watch this movie again? Is this the worst movie ever? Or perhaps somewhere in between? Before I begin though, stay to the end for a clue about what movie I will be doing next. So this is my answer to my own question, should I watch Batman and Robin?
Wait a minute.
Whoa. It's Christopher Nolan's Batman. What are you doing here?
Why are you reviewing such a lame Batman movie when my movie actually won awards? Everyone knows my Batman is the best.
I know. I loved your movies, but
Swear to me.
Okay, how about you listen to my pitch, and then you can decide if you want to watch it again or not, yourself.
Fine. Let the games begin.
Hey, that's Bane's line. So, Batman and Robin was released back in 1997 and directed by Joel Schumacher. It was his second crack at the Caped Crusader after Batman Forever in 1995. It starred George Clooney as Bruce Wayne and Batman, Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze, Uma Thurman as Poison Ivy, Chris O'Donnell as Robin, and Alicia Silverstone as Batgirl. It also had Michael Goff as Alfred and Pat Hingle as Commissioner Gordon, who were the only actors to be in all four of the 90s Batman movies. It made $238 million after costing $160 million to make, which make it not a financial success. It was the lowest grossing Batman movie ever, although it was the highest grossing Warner Brothers movie of that year. Let's start off with what a lot of people tend to hate, and that would of course be those bad suits. They definitely don't look like spelunking friendly. Right. Aside from adding majorly inappropriate nipples to them, they actually caused Alicia Silverstone to lose a lot of her scenes when apparently they started with a cowl, but then switched to the domino-style mask so they could see her hair flow better and couldn't get the suits produced quickly enough. Also, why did they have boots that were primed and ready to turn into hockey skates? It wasn't all bad though. There was also a bat bomb, a bat laser, and a bat saw. I think what they really needed, though, was some pun spray. George Clooney wasn't my favorite Batman.
Darn straight.
But he did all right. He was more charismatic than the last two Batman, Keaton and Kilmer. In fact, he might be the most charismatic Batman, aside from Lego Batman.
In the darkest night, I make the bad guys fall. There's a million heroes. Computer overcompensate, but I'm the best of them all.
I'm on my way, sir.
Who has the coolest gadgets?
Which is contrary to most depictions of the character. My favorite Batman is still Kevin Conroy from the animated series. He can be charismatic when in public and balanced when in private. In this movie, as the title suggests, Batman and Robin have teamed up for a while. Robin, played by Chris O'Donnell, is often too quick to rush in, and that goes against Batman's calm planning. So the two butt heads a lot, creating some tension. Mr. Freeze is played by Arnold Schwarzenegger, who was paid $25 million to be in this movie. He had the hardest makeup to put on, with that blue sparkly paint and the contacts under his big suit that he has to wear. So maybe he earned that. Freeze was in an accident at a cryogenics lab while trying to discover a cure for McGregor syndrome, which his wife was afflicted by. Now he's dependent on a diamond-powered cooling system to keep him alive. Apparently the cold also affected his brain because he is mostly only able to communicate via ice puns. He uses 27 ice puns in total throughout the movie. His henchmen have Vivica A. Fox among them, and a guy who looks like he's in a familiar car salesman ad. Uma Thurman got to bring Poison Ivy to the live screen in this movie. She is a botanist who gets ambiguous plant powers after her boss, played by John Glover, tries to kill her. Her henchman is another iconic character, Bane.
I don't like that guy.
Well, this Bane is not quite the diabolic mastermind you knew. He's pretty much a mindless goon who gains super strength by having a mysterious venom chemical infused through his bloodstream. He was played by professional wrestler Jeep Swenson, who died only a few months after this movie was released. So it's got the pretty standard Mr. Freeze and Poison Ivy stories. Poison Ivy is tired of man destroying nature, so she wants to destroy all humans and start over with plants. Mr. Freeze wants to save his wife and keep her alive long enough to find a cure. Batman and Robin butt heads, as I mentioned before, and Batgirl arrives to add another character to the movie. She is Barbara Wilson instead of Barbara Gordon like she is in most other versions of the character. She was written as Alfred's niece in this movie instead of Commissioner Gordon's daughter, because the writers didn't think she'd be a believable daughter to Pat Hingle. While watching this movie again, I was watching one of the Arkham Asylum guards, thinking he looked and sounded kind of familiar. He turned out to be Jesse the Body Ventura. You might recognize him from another Schwarzenegger movie, Predator. Or you might have noticed him as your governor if you lived in Minnesota from 1999 to 2003. Anyways, I found it interesting that this movie had 2 future governors in it. So what did the people working on it think of this movie? George Clooney has been known to give anyone who told him that they saw this movie and didn't like it a refund. But he also said he was glad to be in the movie because it helped promote him to more leading roles. Schwarzenegger also said he did not regret being in it. Chris O'Donnell thought that Batman Forever was a pretty good movie, but this time they were trying to make a toy commercial. Alicia Silverstone thought she could have done a better job and wants to have another go at it now that she's older and a better actor. Uma Thurman seemed to have the best time of it. She felt the campy tone fit the movie and enjoyed her license she had to be creative with the character. I feel like I remember enjoying this movie in theater. Later on, I listened to all the negative reviews and thought I agreed with them, so when thinking about it last week after the sad news about Joel Schumacher's death, I wasn't really sure what to think. After rewatching again, what did I think? I think it obviously doesn't hold up to The Dark Knight or the 1989 Batman, but I didn't think it was supposed to be that kind of movie, however. If you look at it like a live-action cartoon, I think it does a great job. It's definitely more animated than a few other attempts to live-action up cartoons. This was also back before we had the MCU or Nolan to compare to for comic book movies. Is it a little overkill with the humor? Sure. But I would take that over the snore fest of The Last Airbender anytime.
So I guess you could say it's not the movie we deserve, but the one we need right now?
No, I don't think that makes sense, dude.
Fine. I guess I can see the value of this movie, especially with kids.
Wow, that's kind of bold, Batman. What do you think your fans will say after you admit this new realization?
They'll hunt me. They'll condemn me. They'll stick the dogs on me, because that's what needs to happen.
Okay, well, hopefully not so much. I think people could come to accept that you have a different point of view, and accept that... Wait, where did you go? Well, anyways, do I think this is a great movie? No, I don't think it's great or amazing. Should you watch it? Why not? Where else are you going to see a governor use every single ice pun ever thought of? At least they kept fairly true to the characters, and it's just fun to watch. If you think I'm crazy, leave a comment down below, please, and tell me why. So you might have heard a few references to M. Night Shyamalan's The Last Airbender in this video, and maybe you have come to the conclusion that I think it's the worst movie ever made. Maybe I thought it was adequate. I don't know. Watch my next video and hear my thoughts about that movie. Thanks for watching this video, especially if you're still here and didn't run away screaming halfway through. You're amazing. Please subscribe, and don't forget to comment down below on your thoughts of whether you like Batman and Robin or not. I'll see you later.